Director Bachmeier, thank you so much for sitting down with me and chatting about you being at the Federation of Canadian Municipalities convention here in beautiful Ottawa, Ontario. What brings you here as a director from the great district of Cariboo Regional District? I'm going to get that right one day.
Well, what brings me here? Well, this is a good opportunity to talk to people in power. You know, got to sit in on question period, and I had a good meeting with my local MP at the Justice Department there, the building. So, yeah, it's just a way to connect with people. It's more about connection and learning what they're doing and how that might be helpful for your community.
And are you hearing similar issues when you're talking to people, whether it be from Alberta, Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, that you're dealing with in British Columbia?
Oh, yeah. We all having the same issues. Lack of funding, inconsistent funding. The way we fund local government is just not sustainable. We're taxing the same taxpayer, and we don't have access to funding for sewer, water, infrastructure. We don't do roads in the Cariboo Regional District. We do help fund hospitals. So all of this adds up, and it's a community of voices helps to direct the federal and provincial government as to what our needs are. If we don't have the infrastructure built, how can we have housing? If we don't have sewer and water in rural communities, especially that have issues with the environmental impacts going on, and the fact that our roads are just crumbling and falling away, and the regional district is not responsible for roads. That's the province and the federal government. And when a road slides, it should be them that fixes it. And I've got farmers who are willing to drag out an old cat and plow a trail, but that's not sufficient either. So
what do you take back to Regional District of Cariboo then? Cariboo Regional District. I will get it right. By the end of this interview, what do you take back to Cariboo Regional District then from what you gathered here over the last 4 days when this airs?
When I get up and speak and I say my piece and then I sit down and people are coming up to me with actual solutions or possible solutions to some of the issues that I'm raising, that's a good thing. And I mean, that's part of the connection. So if you're connecting with people here and they're trying to offer solutions, they may or may not work, but I mean, it's something to look at. Yeah.
Do you feel like it was worth coming to Ottawa for this convention?
Yeah.
Or that camaraderie that you're talking about?
It's definitely worth coming to FCM, because you get a...
Is this your first convention?
This is my second one.
So you were in Calgary?
No.
Okay.
I was in
Toronto?
Quebec City, I think.
Okay.
A while ago. Yeah.
So is there anything different from Quebec City that you're getting here now?
Yeah, actually, I'm finding that they're talking more about the rural issues rather than the actual city issues or urban issues. Where, without rural connectivity, without rural roads, without rural building, you can't get product to market. All of us in the rural areas of across Canada have the same issues. We don't have the funding, and I'm finding that FCM is actually talking about rural issues, which at the last convention, the last conference I was at, they weren't talking about it. They were talking about municipal urban things like transit. I mean,
You have transit, but you don't have buses and trains, but you have cars and roads, and that's your transit.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, most of the roads in the entire Cariboo actually are crumbling. They haven't been maintained for a long time. I had one road slide, and it was because the culverts were all full in a rainstorm. And now that road's gone, and it's an alternate route from Quesnel to Prince George. So, yeah, it
So
just keeps going.
So my final question for you is, what do you take back when you get back to the Cariboo Regional District? What do you do with the information you've gathered here? Because there might be some who say, oh, it's just another political gathering where politicians get together and they party and they don't actually solve and they're just wasting taxpayers. How do you ensure that the money that the taxpayers spent to send you here is used correctly, and that the information you've gathered doesn't just fall on deaf ears when you return to the Cariboo Regional District?
I think the Cariboo Regional District Board of Directors has a fairly good understanding of what the issues are, and they're experiencing the same issues. So if I can come back with solutions, and there are 4 of us directors here and our CAO, and if we can come back together and say, look, we spoke to these people and they have ideas for this. I mean, that's a positive thing. There's so many, like the trade show, for example, had a lot of things that could be solutions for some of our issues, and ideas, and so you bring that back and you discuss it at the board, at some point.
Well, Director Bachmeier, thank you so much for sitting down with me. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. Look forward to coming up to the Cariboo Regional District. Hopefully I got that right this time.
Yeah, you did.
And without looking at your name tag this time, let's put it that way. And I look forward to seeing you in Prince George next year for NCLGA.
NCLGA in Prince George. We have
and Victoria for UBCM.
Yeah, Victoria for UBCM. And I don't know if you know about the Keeping It Rural conference in Kelowna coming up next week on the 10th. But it's
I would love to have
2.5 day in Kelowna.
I would have loved to have gone that, but I'm off to St. John's for that week.
Oh,
that week.
Too bad.